All right, let's dive into something a little bit different.
Okay.
We're going to be looking at Reason Yourself Rich today,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
I think just the author combination alone is fascinating.
Yeah.
We've got Ronald Decepcione,
Okay.
who is a self-proclaimed motivational non-speaker,
Wow.
and then we've got Sebastian Freitwig, who specializes in self-hypnosis.
Interesting combination.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
it should be a very unique perspective.
It certainly seems that way just from that.
Yeah, and he kind of jumps right in. He's
Okay.
Decepcione. He starts talking about like Rockefeller and Carnegie,
Right.
but he doesn't focus on, like their hard work or
Right.
their business savvy or anything like that.
Yeah.
He actually says that like child labor and heavy drinking were big factors in their success.
That's a different take for sure.
Yeah, yeah. And then he's got this quote, "Do only what your heart tells you, because your gallbladder is a lying, deceitful control freak."
Wow. Where does that come from?
It's in the book, yeah.
Oh, okay. All
And I
right.
don't know what level of seriousness we're dealing with here.
Yeah, it's hard to tell, right?
Is it playful? Is it provocation? What's going on?
Yeah, and you have the authors themselves.
Right.
You've got this, non-speaker and a hypnotist.
Yeah.
So it's like, is that a choice? Are they playing with us a little bit?
Yeah, yeah. And speaking of like playing with this,
Okay.
Deception talks about his lack of romantic success.
Oh.
And he blames that on his intense focus on reason and logic.
So he's saying he's too smart to find love.
Yeah, basically.
Wow.
So, I don't know, it's the self-help author. You think he'd have those social skills?
Yeah, you'd think so, right?
Down pat, right?
Yeah, it's a little strange.
Yeah, and then it gets even weirder. There's a section called relaxation techniques.
Right.
And one of his suggestions involves, like, exploring your own body. And if you're in a relationship, your partner's body
Okay.
in inappropriate situations.
All right. So that's definitely pushing the boundaries a little bit.
Yeah, yeah. And then we get into his concept of celebrity equals significance.
No?
Like, he thinks if you're famous, you're automatically successful.
Hmm.
And he uses Charlie Chaplin as an example.
Okay, but isn't Charlie Chaplin like...
Yeah, but then he goes on to criticize Chaplin's personal life.
So which is it? Is he successful or not?
I don't know.
Okay, so there's some mixed messages there.
Yeah, and it doesn't stop there. So he advocates for ignoring criticism,
All right.
but then he talks about how obsessed he is with negative reviews.
Oh. Okay, so he doesn't follow his own advice.
No, not at all.
All right, so that's a bit of a contradiction.
Yeah, and then there's this whole Gandhi parable.
Okay.
And the basic premise is that Gandhi's legs get gnawed off by meerkats.
What?
Yeah.
Okay, so where's he going with this?
I have no idea. The punchline makes no sense.
All right, it sounds like a very strange parable.
Yeah, and then, okay, so imagine this. You run into Deception. He just walks up to you and he asks you why you haven't achieved more with your life.
That's a bold question to just ask someone out of the blue.
Yeah, and he actually recommends that you ask the next 10 people that you meet that very question.
Oh, I can imagine that would lead to some awkward encounters.
Yeah, he even says that most people will find it offensive.
So he knows it's a bad idea, but he's telling people to do it anyway.
Yeah, and then,
So what's the point of that?
I don't know, I guess he likes making people uncomfortable.
So it seems...
It's very strange.
Yeah, it's definitely an unconventional approach to self-help, to say the least.
Yeah, definitely unconventional.
All right, so where do we go from here?
Well, he kind of goes off on this tangent about women of low self-esteem.
Oh, okay. This should be good.
Yeah, it gets a little weird.
All right, I'm intrigued. Let's hear it.
Okay, so
Yeah.
he says that men should specifically target women with low self-esteem.
Wait, target them for what?
With this question, the why haven't you achieved more?
Okay, so he's saying that women with low self-esteem are more likely to answer that question.
Yeah, he thinks they'll be more open to it.
That's,
Yeah, it's pretty messed up.
it's definitely crossing a line.
Yeah,
So I'm starting to wonder if this whole book is some kind of elaborate joke.
maybe. But even if it is a joke, it's not a very funny one.
You're right, there's something kind of disturbing about it.
Yeah, it's like he's trying to exploit people's vulnerabilities.
Exactly, and that's not what self-help should be about.
No, not at all.
Okay, so where do we go from here? How do we even begin to make sense of all this?
Well, I think the big question is Deception being sincere?
Right. Is he genuinely trying to help people, or is this all just some kind of twisted game he's playing?
Exactly. And that's what we're going to try to figure out as we continue our deep dive into Reason Yourself Rich.
All right, I'm ready for the challenge. Let's see what other surprises this book has in store.
Let's do it.
Okay, so he doesn't just like point out flaws in these like traditional success narratives. He really like actively challenges the reader to confront their own desires and limitations.
Yeah.
And he does it in kind of an interesting way.
Yeah. Like how so?
Well, he asks these series of questions.
Yep.
Some of them are pretty practical and some of them are just absurd.
Right.
Like, what would you do to win the lottery? Eat a bug, doo-doo, buy a ticket.
Oh, okay.
It's like,
so what's the point of a question like that?
it's like he's trying to shake you up a little bit, you know?
Right.
Make you think about what really matters.
Okay.
How far would you go to get what you want?
Mm.
And then it's got this line, tell me. Oh, please do. Like, he really wants to know the answer, even if it's something totally crazy.
That's kind of funny.
Yeah, it's like he's really invested in the reader in a weird way.
Yeah.
And then he asks, what if some jobs paid? Would you do those, or would you still want to act?
Oh, interesting.
So it's like, is work just a performance for you?
Right.
Or are you actually passionate about what you do?
I like that, yeah.
And then he throws in this curveball. If you were given £1 million English and you had to carry it across a wind tunnel, would you want it in money or bricks?
Oh my gosh, okay.
Just a totally random scenario.
Totally.
But it makes you think about, like, the weight of money.
Literally.
Yeah, literally and figuratively.
And
then, out of nowhere, he brings up Hustler magazine.
wait, what?
Yeah, he's comparing these thought-provoking questions to the powerful fantasies he has when he reads Hustler.
Oh, interesting.
And he even talks about, like, the awkwardness of buying it.
Oh, like feeling judged?
Yeah. It's like this weird mix of highbrow and lowbrow.
Okay.
Like, he's not afraid to get a little bit dirty.
Right.
So then he asks, what role does money currently play in your life?
Okay.
And he compares it to movie characters.
Yeah.
Like, if it's Hannibal Lecter, you need a tax accountant.
Oh, wow.
And if it's Rolf from The Sound of Music, you need serious help.
Okay, that's funny.
Yeah, it's like he's using pop culture to explain money.
Right.
Which is kind of a cool way to do it.
Yeah.
Then he gets really deep. He asks, if wanting more money was a way to compensate for something you feel is lacking in yourself, what would it be compensating for? And then he gives you two choices. Sex after marriage or children.
Wow. Okay,
It's intense, right?
Yeah.
Like, what are you really trying to fill with money?
Mm-hmm.
And then he asks, what have you made more important than money in your life? What have you made less important?
Okay.
And he says if the answer to either of those is paying your bills, then you're either on the path to success or ruin. So, like, you got to be responsible, but money can't be everything.
Right.
And then he's got this scale. You got to rate your enjoyment of money from 1 to 10.
Okay.
But he says don't answer 11 because those who do are the devil's instruments.
What?
Yeah.
Okay, that's kind of dark.
It's a little ominous.
Yeah.
And then he skips question number 7.
Really?
For no reason.
It just skips it.
Jumps right to number 9.
Okay, what's number 9?
What is at least one thing you could do right now to up your enjoyment? So he wants you to take action right now.
Okay.
He even says, pause the video, go do it, and come back.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's like a built-in action step.
Okay.
And then he ends this whole section with, never give up, even if it's forcing your little brother's hand onto a hot stovetop, never stop trying.
Okay, that's a little violent.
It's a little disturbing.
Yeah.
But then he quotes Mark Twain about quitting smoking.
Oh, right.
But then he reminds you that Twain died of emphysema and lung cancer.
So what's the point?
I don't know. It's like he's undermining his own advice.
So confusing.
I know. It's like he wants to keep you on your toes.
Yeah,
So we went through a lot there.
definitely did.
From self-reflection to absurdity.
And back.
It's a wild ride.
Yeah, it is.
And just when you think you've got him figured out,
What happens?
he throws another curveball.
Okay.
The next section is all about fear.
Yo, interesting.
Yeah, he starts talking about how fear can hold you back.
Uh-huh.
And then the video freezes, the screen goes black,
What?
and when it comes back,
Yeah.
years have passed.
Like how many years?
He doesn't say exactly, just several.
Okay. What happened?
He says he lost the use of his arms for a while.
Really?
And he's only now able to write again.
Wow. So was it like a real injury?
He doesn't say.
Yeah.
It could be metaphorical. Who knows?
Yeah.
He also says he's free from a post-production deadline because no one wants the shows anymore.
Oh, so is he like...
It's like he's acknowledging that fame doesn't last.
Yeah.
And he says he's sharing this wisdom in a never-to-be-seen coffee table edition.
Oh, wow.
It's kind of ironic.
Yeah, it is.
So he's reflecting on his past,
Right.
saying there's no real secret to his special reasoning. And his life now feels like a forgotten memory.
Wow. So it's kind of sad.
It is a little bit.
Yeah.
And he even admits he might have been too young and inexperienced to give advice in the first place.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's like he's questioning his own authority.
So does he have any answers?
It's hard to say. He doesn't really get into it.
Okay.
The text just kind of ends abruptly.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's like he's giving up.
On the whole thing?
Maybe, or maybe he's just leaving us with more questions than answers.
Right. It's tough to tell with him.
Yeah.
Like, is he serious? Is he not? What's going on?
He's definitely playing with us, I think.
Right.
Keeps you guessing.
Yeah.
Like, is this a joke? Is it helpful? Is it harmful?
Yeah.
Who knows?
Like, take that whole section on repetition. He tells this really crude story.
Yeah.
But the idea behind it, like focusing your intention to make something happen.
Right, manifesting.
Yeah.
It's not a totally crazy idea.
Yeah.
It's just the way he presents it.
Yeah, it's like he could have just said that.
Exactly.
But no, he's got to be all provocative.
He likes to make a splash.
Yeah, and you know what? He does make some good points about, like, success and wealth. He doesn't think fame equals achievement.
Right.
And he's not a fan of just chasing more and more.
Yeah, he's questioning those traditional ideas.
Yeah, and maybe those awkward questions he tells you to ask.
Hmm.
Like, maybe that's his way of getting you to step outside your comfort zone.
It's possible.
Like, confront your fears, be a little more bold.
But you gotta wonder if those methods really work.
Yeah, and are they even ethical?
That's the big question.
So is this book helpful?
Or is it harmful?
Or somewhere in between?
Honestly, I think it's all of the above.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking too.
He's all over the place.
It's like he's holding up a mirror
Oh, interesting.
to our own beliefs about success and all that.
Hmm.
And depending on how you look at it, you might agree with him, you might laugh at him, or you might just be totally turned off.
It's a choose-your-own-adventure self-help book.
Yeah, it really is.
I don't think this book is for everyone, though.
Oh, definitely not.
But if you're the kind of person who likes to think for themselves,
Right.
and you're not afraid of a little challenge,
And maybe a little weirdness.
yeah, then you might find something valuable in here.
Yeah, he reminds us that this whole self-discovery thing, it's not always pretty.
It can be messy,
Yeah.
uncomfortable,
And confusing.
and maybe even a little funny,
Yeah, like we said, it's a journey.
with a lot of twists and turns.
Well, we made it through.
We did.
That was quite the deep dive.
Yeah.
Reezy yourself rich, huh?
Who would have thought?
Not your average self-help book.
Nope, not at all. But you know what? Even with all the crazy stuff,
Okay.
he made me think about things in a new way.
That's what he wants, I think.
To shake things up.
Make you question everything.
Yeah, and I guess that's not always a bad thing.
I think the big takeaway here is don't believe everything you read,
Or hear.
especially when it comes to self-help.
Be skeptical, think for yourself, and don't be afraid to laugh at yourself along the way. That's good advice. I think even Deception would agree with that.
All right, that's going to do it for us today.
Thanks for listening, everybody.
We'll catch you next time on The Deep Dive.